So as expected in the budget today, there wasn't anything major with regards to pensions, but it had been leaked that the lifetime allowance might be frozen. And it had been leaked that it might be frozen for just a couple of years or maybe 3 years to the end of this term in Parliament. But what we've actually seen is announcements that they're going to freeze the lifetime allowance at 1.0731 million up until 25-26, so up until April 2026, which is a significant amount of time. If we look at the lifetime allowance as it could be at the turn of this tax year, the rise was fairly minimal. It was less than £6,000 because CPI was only 0.5% back in September. So we saw a very, very minimal rise coming anyway this year. So there's probably not much to really consider for people retiring this year, and it's not going to really have any major impacts on planning that may have already happened for people starting to take their benefits in 21-22. But what we will see is a bigger issue for those people who are looking at necessarily taking their benefits in the next 5 years. The lifetime allowance started going up in 2018 after the drop back in 2016, and it was going up by CPI. So when CPI rises, we get bigger increases, and obviously we're expecting CPI to go up in the next few years. If we just assume it's around 2.5% for the next 5 years, what we're actually going to see is a lifetime allowance that could have been nearer the 1.2 million, but we're still going to be stuck at the 1.0731 million, which is, a significant difference. But it's important to think that actually there are planning opportunities here. How much should be crystallised and when? There's no need for a lot of people in defined contribution schemes to crystallise everything in one go. So tailoring that to utilise the lifetime allowance in the most efficient way is really important. So it might be a case if someone's looking to start taking benefits, then to consider the implications sooner rather than later. What it does do, which I think is really unfortunate, is again, it's penalising those with good investment growth. The government want people to invest and they want people to get good growth because that's a real benefit to the economy. But actually, this is a disincentive for people to put more money into pensions, which is a real shame. The lifetime allowance, however, isn't as easy to manipulate if you've got a DB scheme. And again, my brain goes back to thinking about those NHS consultants, all those people that have been working really hard in the coronavirus times. And that they've been building up a bit of extra pension because they've been doing this over time to help support the NHS. And if they're coming to the point that they're looking to retire, or if they're somebody who came back into work and have built up extra pensions and going to retire again in the next few years, this could be penal to them because actually the multiples, when you do 20 times the pension, you can get to the lifetime allowance relatively quickly. So we're not talking massive high earners. We're not necessarily talking people you think that it's unfair that they should be hitting the lifetime allowance. So again, it's looking at and understanding what clients have just to ensure that you're aware and prepping them for these charges. But I should reiterate, and I do make this point rather a lot, that it is an allowance. And the allowance is there. If you go over it, it's not a hard and fast limit, so you can merrily go over it if you want to, or if you're forced to in some cases. But what it does is the lifetime allowance charge is there to claw back the tax relief that you've already have. So it's not about looking to make money, it's about looking to get back some tax relief that's been given. I have to say we're not welcoming this change, but we can deal with it in certain circumstances. What we are waiting for is further publication of consultations, and that might lead to more thoughts about changes regarding pensions. At this point in time, we don't know what's in those consultations, but come the 23rd of March, I'll assure you we'll be heads down reading those and seeing what impacts that might have for your clients.